Hi, welcome to TechSR. In this video, we're going to see how to create a basic web API using .NET Core 7. Okay, in our Visual Studio, you can go to File, New Project. In the New Project section, you can search for API here. It will show the relevant templates for API. So we can choose ASP.NET Core Web API. It should be C#. So give the relevant name for your project. I am giving it as Customer Demo Web API. So if needed, you can change the path. For now, you can leave it as it is. So choose .NET 7 here. We don't need authentication for now. So leave these settings as it is and click on Create Project. So it will create a basic .NET Core 7 application for you. Before creating any web APIs, we first look at the basic configuration files available in this. So first one is the launch setting.json. So this is the file which says like which website to launch by default when we run the application. So we have configured with HTTPS. You have seen when we created the project. So it will actually goes into this one. Okay. And then the launch URL is Swagger. So by default it will show the Swagger URL, and this is the application URL 7263. And environment is development. So in case of development or production, we can change this as whatever we needed. So let me run this application first to make sure like this is the URL being launched and Swagger page is loading or not. Okay, we can see now the host URL, which is what we have given, and Swagger is the landing page. So I will just close this and I will modify this URL maybe for now. So we can use 765 for now, just to check is it changing or not. So you can see right, the launch URL has been changed to 7265 port. Okay, and then the next configuration file is app-settings.json. So in this file, we can add the DB connection strings and any rules like domain restrictions, informations like that we can add here, and also logging informations. And the next file is Program.cs file. So this is the startup file for the application. So before explaining this file, I will first create a new project in .NET 5 and explain that first, then we can come to this. I have created a new project in .NET 5. The structure almost looks same. The app setting.json is same as the previous, like .NET 7, the latest one, and also there is a launch setting.json. This is also similar to the one which we have now, but we can see a little change here. When we go to Program.cs file, whenever an application is run, this is the file which is getting called first. So here it will go to the main method and it will create a host builder first. So it will call the startup class from here. So if you go to startup class, there are few methods available. So first is the configure services method and another is the configure method. In configure method, we can add the pipelines we needed. Pipelines is nothing but a middleware, like if you need Swagger needs to be included, or if you need authentication or authorization, you can keep on adding here. Let's say here no authentication is not available because while creating a project we didn't choose an authentication. In case if I need authentication support in my application, I can use app.use authentication as well. So this will help me in adding support for authentication, and this is also like we don't need this, right? So in this case it will be like and the next method is the configure services method. This is used to add any services or any dependency injection based on services to be added to the container. So we can look into this in deeper when we work on services or any middlewares like that. Okay, so now we have seen the structure of this .NET 5. So we can now move on to .NET 7 and just see how this has been changed. Okay, now we are in .NET Core 7 project. So let me open the Program.cs file. So in this file you can see right, there is no startup.cs file is not there. So this is the starting file actually. So and also you can see right, class, program or namespace, everything is missing here. So this is what the change they recently made. In program file we don't need to mention any of the namespaces or class program by default, so it will be applicable. And then they removed the method for configure services and configure, and they added it in a single method itself. So in case if I need to add any services, I can just add it here and in case of any pipelines I can add it here itself. So this is a change they had brought in the .NET 7. Okay, now we can proceed with creating a new web API. We can create an customer API like to get the information of the customer or create a new customer like that or delete a customer. So let me create a model first. So there is no folder called model, so we can create a one folder here. And inside the model I'm going to create a new class. Name it as customer.cs. So I'm going to create few properties here. So you can see one more feature here, right? This is IntelliSense available in latest Visual Studio version. So you can just hit on tab, it will create this. And if you don't need, you can type on it. So let me say I can just type prop tab. It's a shortcut for the property. So I need string first name, let's say, and then one more property, so it will automatically suggest, it's a good thing. So this is the last name, and then one more field I have, let's say city. That's it. So we can have this class for now for the customer. Now we can go ahead and create a controller. To create a controller, right click on the controllers, add controller. In this, choose API. For now we can go ahead with empty API controller, add. So we can give a name for this as a customers controller. So it will create a controller for us. Now we can go ahead and create some actions on this. Okay, before creating a method, we first need to get the customers list. So since we are not having a DB here, we just initialize the customer, same as like for the weather forecast controller they have initialized right here list. So like that we can initialize the list of customers here itself. So let me create a variable for this. So I will name the variable as a customers, and I can create a new list of customers here. So I can have ID equal to 1 and first name as Tom, last name as Cooper, and let's say city as Chennai. So let's create one more user like this. So let's have ID as 2 and 3, and we create two more names. And this city may be Mumbai. This may be Hyderabad. So we have created a variable called customers here. Now we can go ahead and create a method to get these customers first. So let me create a method here. So I'm going to return just a customers here, and this action should be HTTP get. Okay, so now we have created a method to get all the customers. We can create one more method here to get a single customer. So let it be get customer, but we don't need a customers, we just need a customer here, and we need to pass an ID. We can get customers by ID here. So we can get a customer first. We can find the customer by the ID here. Customers dot find, and then we can see if the customer really exists there. If the customer is null, then we can throw an exception like not found. And if the result is available, we can return the customer. Okay, so this should be also HTTP GET only. Okay, so now we can run this and see are we able to get these 3 users, and we can also pass one of the ID here and check. Let me run the project now. It returns an error, so we need to see what we made wrong there. Okay, so let me go to the code again. So we are passing the parameter here, but in the API we didn't showcase anything like we are using an ID here. So here we need to pass an ID for the get customer. Okay, let me try that. It should be outside. Okay, I need to stop this. So now I have changed that parameter ID here. Now I need to run it again. Now we will be seeing this API under customers. The first one is the API customers, which is get list of all customers. So we can try it out here. So if I hit that, we already have 3 customers mentioned, so it returned all 3 customers. So let me try to fetch only one customer of ID 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, so here I'm just trying out by passing an ID as 2. It should return John Parker. Yes, we can see, right, it returns John Parker. And we can change the ID to some invalid ID, let's say 5. We don't have 5 here, so let me try to execute. It says customer not found. So we are successful with creating the 2 APIs. Now we can try to update and delete and also add new record on this. Okay, we can go back to Visual Studio. We can just stop this. So I'm going to create a few methods here. So first one is to create a new record. And it should have a customer object being passed here. So we can just add it to the existing customer list. So after successfully adding, we can just retrieve all the customers. And this needs to be HTTP post. And then we can create one more method to update. So in update method, we first need to find whether this customer exists or not, then only we can update it. So we first find the customer exists or not. Let me name one variable customer list equal to. So we are just finding whether this customer ID already exists in the customer's collection ID. If it exists, we will be having the value. So we first check it is not null or not. So we can return not found and like invalid customer detail, and then we can return before that we need to update it, right? So we can update the record first. So we need to update the first name with customer.firstname. Same applies to all the other values. So we updated 3 values here, and then we can return the customer and see if we are getting proper response, and this should be put. So this one is the basic one, like whenever we are going to fetch a record we should use HTTP GET, and in case if we are going to create we need to use post, and in case of update we need to use put or patch, and for delete we should be using HTTP delete. So I'm going to create one more method for delete. So we can pass ID as a parameter here. So I'm going to use HTTP delete. Same we can copy if in case if we need it. It's session ID. Then we can proceed with remove. Sorry. So we are deleting the customer if the data exists, and then we can return the customers as a response finally. That's it. So we are done with the basic CRUD API. So CRUD in the sense create, read, update and delete. Create for the post we have created here, and then read is a get record, U stands for update, and D for delete. So now we can run this and see for the remaining 3 pending methods. Okay, so now we can create one more record here. I can choose an ID as 4 and first name as Ricky and last name as and city as maybe Chennai for now. Execute. So it should have created a new customer and the list would have updated to 4. So we can cross check it with the get list of customers. We should get 4 customers now. We are getting 4, and also we can run the get command by ID 4. It should give the response. Correct. So it seems to be working fine. Next what we can try is we can update any existing record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the record ID 2 with a new name, Sachin Tendulkar, maybe we can say. City is Mumbai. So I'm going to update this record 2 now. Execute. So this record is updated. We can cross check with a get query as we checked earlier. So it returns updated record, and also we can cross check with get all record as well. So the name has been updated. And the last method is delete. So I need to delete record ID 3 maybe. So I'm going to delete 3. So delete is successful. And we can see 1, 2 and 4. 3 is deleted. So we can cross check with this API as well. So 3 is not there in the list, and we can check by customers by searching for 3. It says customers not found. So our API is working as expected. In the upcoming videos we will see how to create these APIs with the help of database. Like currently we use the list only here, right? So we can modify this with the data in the database. To get more useful information like this, subscribe to TechSR. Thanks for watching.